One of California's worst members of Congress wants to be your governor. So today I wanted to take some time to make the case against this man, Eric Swalwell, from federal crimes, dating a Chinese spy, the nationally televised flatulence that was heard all around the world, and more on today's episode of the Moreno Show. So please like, subscribe, and let's dive in. First things first, the governor hopeful sits down with CNN and tells everyone about his bold new idea, which is to vote by phone, digitize the DMV, and I quote, max out democracy. Yeah, it sounds like a green flag, right? Check this out.
I want us to be able to vote by phone. I think every Californian vote by phone. Yeah, if we can do our taxes, do our make our healthcare appointments, make essentially do your banking online, you should be able to vote by phone. Make it safe, make it secure, but it's actually already happening all over the United States. I want us to be a blue state that doesn't do just a little bit better than like Georgia or Alabama when it comes to like voting access. I want us to max out democracy. Also, as it relates to democracy, if you wait in line for 30 minutes or more, if you do want to vote in person, I think you should fine every county for every minute that a person has to wait longer. We have to be better, not just a little bit better than the other states. The DMV. I don't think Californians should have to go in person to the DMV anymore. I think we can do that virtually. I think you can have the DMV employees do it virtually, but that's a lot of real estate.
Is that the most popular position?
Digitize the DMV. Digitize the DMV.
Yeah.
We can modernize.
Okay, I love the idea of modernizing the DMV. I think that's great, but I love that even the CNN host was stunned by this whenever he heard about voting by phone. He was like, vote by phone. As if he wanted to say that's like the dumbest idea he's heard all day, which is probably true. And listen, I love this idea of innovation and efficiency, but when you're talking about voting by phone, I feel like you're asking to be hacked. Like in the past month alone, half of the internet stopped working multiple times, all because of one piece of software that just stops working. So like if I can't even trust Instagram from loading on my phone, how the heck am I going to be able to trust voting on my phone? Like you see how this little Jenga tower starts to collapse fairly easily. But that's not all, because all hell broke loose with this headline when he was accused of committing mortgage fraud. Look at this headline by the New York Post. It reads, Rep. Eric Swalwell seemingly used a D.C. house at center of mortgage fraud allegations for California governor campaign launch. The smoking gun, look at this. He is literally not even in California. Look, I'm born and raised in California, and I just don't think it's a lot to ask for that these people who want to be governor should actually live in the state. I feel like that's not too much to ask for. Look at this. Judging from the stairway, banister, and the kitchen island lights, Eric Swalwell appears to have filmed his campaign launch video for California governor at his primary residence in Washington, D.C. Look at this. Utterly ridiculous. Another person says, if Eric Swalwell says his principal residence is in California, he committed mortgage fraud. If he says his principal residence is in D.C., he isn't representing his district and constitutional residency requirements and must be removed as a congressman. All to say two words. Look at this. He is cooked. This man doesn't deserve anyone's vote. And speaking of votes, this man is always MIA, missing in action. Rob Pyers says, all the more baffling, despite living 2 miles away from the Capitol, the only House members that have missed more votes this year have been either running for statewide office, pregnant, hospitalized with serious medical issues, or dying. Look at this. Eric Swalwell. 55. Are you kidding me? This is absurd. All right. Do not trust a man who can't even show up to work. Also, never trust a man who farts on a national television. All right. This is just some personal advice that I live from. Look at this.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from...
What's baffling to me is just how comical this sounds. It sounds like he sat on a whoopee cushion, like it is just fake or manufactured or somehow added in. But no, it is completely real. The real crime, if you were to ask me, is that he didn't even stop. He just kept going. He didn't acknowledge it. He didn't excuse it. He didn't apologize for it. It was just nothing. He just kept on talking. Like he didn't just let it rip on a live TV like a psycho. It is so weird. But what's worse than the Fargate scandal is, let's not forget that he could be compromised, okay? Let's not forget his past involvement with a Chinese national that's been accused of targeting U.S. officials, which included who? Swalwell. Look at this. She fundraised for him. She installed members of his office. And when asked whether or not that he slept with a woman who cozied up with multiple U.S. elected officials, he went radio silent. What's even more ridiculous is that his staff said that they couldn't comment on Swalwell having a sexual relationship with Fang because that information could be classified. What kind of Hallmark movie were you watching when you thought of that line? Are you kidding? Could we also talk about the red flag that is that his family is still friends with this woman on Facebook? How is that okay? I mean, and also, how close was she if she was friends with your family? It is ridiculous. I mean, is this who you want running the beautiful state of California? You tell me. What's even more heartbreaking about all this is Eric Swalwell has a beautiful young family, which would make these accusations of him dating this Chinese spy even worse, because that would mean that he would have been cheating on his wife and family. And while that would put him in the same shoes as our current governor, Gavin Newsom, I do think it's a terrible display of character. And I think it says a lot about who this person is, especially behind closed doors. But anyways, that is Eric Swalwell, basically Gavin Newsom Jr., if you were to ask me. And you can absolutely vote for him if you want, but I think I'm going to pass on that. But to end off this video on a very positive note, because I used to do this thing called like positive politics. It would be like a segment every now and then in videos, but I would just love people to do that a little bit more habitually. So here is the Christmas lighting at Fox Square, because we need to smile. All right, we need to cleanse our feeds. We need to light up our hearts. So why not? Look at this.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Come on. Is that not very amazing? Is that not beautiful? Just warming your heart as we get ready to dive into this amazing Christmas season. I love it. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think about all this in the comment section. And hey, if you made it this far, please like, subscribe, turn on the bell, and have Merry Christmas. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.